Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for another Wild Wednesday.
Yeah, joining us today from the Great Plains Zoo is Allison Gould, and she brought with her Megatron, a Hermann's tortoise, which I think is just like the greatest name ever for a tortoise, right?
Yes, he came to us with that name, but Hermann's tortoises are a small type of tortoise found throughout southern Europe.
So I think there is a difference. Need to know there's a difference between tortoises and turtles, right?
Yes and no.
Yep.
So tortoises are just a subgroup of turtles. So if you still call a tortoise a turtle, it's still correct. But usually with tortoises, they're going to have more of these stumpy elephant-like feet rather than webbed feet or toes like turtles will.
Because they don't swim like turtles do.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, they spend pretty much all of their life on land, whereas a lot of turtles will have a chunk of their life in water at some point.
Talk about kind of the size difference between, maybe other tortoises and then Megatron. Talk about how that kind of plays a role in how they, adapt and things like that.
Sure, yeah. So he is fully grown. He won't get any bigger than this. So he is on the smaller end of tortoises. The largest tortoises in the world are Galapagos. So they live on a really small island chain and they don't have any natural predators. So they are able to get really big like that. He would have a little bit more predators that he would have to adjust to. So being small means he can go a little bit faster than those big tortoises can, but he can also suck all the way into his shell to keep him safe if he needs to.
So diet would consist of probably, I'm assuming, plants and fruits?
Yes, yeah, he is an herbivore, so only grasses, leaves, some root vegetables, some fruits or berries if he can find them. But he is really attracted to bright colors too, so a lot of tortoises have really good eyesight so they can see those colors and know what food they can go and find to eat.
Talk about kind of how Megatron interacts with, different students, kids, kind of where, you can find him.
Yeah, so he lives in our classroom at the zoo. So he is one that a lot of people can see when they come to classes with us. So right now we just started our Zoo Cubs preschool classes for April. So a lot of kids love coming and seeing him and just walking around in his tank. And he always gets fed right in the morning. So people get to watch him eat his salad every day too.
What are some other fun facts about Megatron?
Yeah, so for his species, they have a really interesting tail compared to other tortoises. So if I turn him around here, their tail is really long, which a lot of tortoises will have kind of a shorter tail, but his works almost like a kickstand or an extra leg. So if he does get flipped over onto his back, he can stretch that tail out a little bit more and help to flip him back the right way, or he can just kind of prop up onto it to reach for leaves that might be a little higher up.
That's really cool. Yeah. I think when I was a kid, cartoons kind of made me think that shells aren't a part of turtles or tortoises, but that's actually a part of he can feel you touch the shell, right?
Yes, yeah. So tortoises have their spine connected on the inside of their shell, so it's part of their body. They can never leave their shell. That is something that only happens in cartoons, and so he can feel everything. So usually if you touch them, they start to kick their legs a little bit more because they have nerve endings throughout all of that, so they feel it.
Wow, and then what kind of climate do they prefer?
Yeah, so they're usually in shrublands or wooded areas, sometimes grasslands, but they do need kind of temperate climates, a little on the warmer side, and so they will go into a dormancy state, almost like a hibernation, both in the winter and in the summer to avoid super cold or super hot temperatures.
Is he the only Hermann's tortoise that you have, or do you have an Optimus Prime too?
He's our only Hermann's right now, yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, thank you for bringing him in. It's so fun. Always a Wild Wednesday here. And we'll be back after the break.